first. Women are embracing equity and creating a positive change in the society, despite the many challenges they are faced with. Today, we have two amazing speakers. I call them amazing because they are women that have distinguished themselves in their various professional careers. I have my first speaker, Agnes Okereke. She's the head business development from GTI Asset Management and Trust Limited. She has over 10 years of experience in the finance industry. She has experience in mortgage banking and investment banking. Today, she's going to take us on the topic, securing a successful financial future. So while she's at it, please, if you have questions, you can drop them on the chat session. We'll take questions after the second speaker. Agnes, please.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning and happy International Women's Day to every woman out there. Permit me to share my screen with you as I'll be discussing on securing a successful financial future. Yes, we know the theme for this year's International Women's Day is embracing equity, just like our amazing host has mentioned and talked about. And today, I want us as women to look at our finances more. I'd like to share my screen with you. Just a minute, please. Okay, so I'll be talking on women in society securing a successful financial future. I know the general notion is that women are very good spenders. Women are, when it comes to, spending money, we tend to, put so much energy into that. But in today's society, how can we, as women, manage our finances? It is very important. So this is basically what we'll be talking about today, managing our finances. So let's look at the concept of developing our money managing skills. One of the things we should always look at when you're looking at this is your income. Every woman out there, I know even every individual has an income. It might come from your business, it might come from your monthly pay. But then as a female, as a woman in today's society, it is very important for us to analyze our income either on a monthly basis, annual basis, know how much you're earning, know what you're earning. Because sometimes we tend to feel, oh, is this really important? Okay, yeah, I'm earning this amount. I can just save this. I can use this for this. I can use this for that. But it helps you more, when you have to put these things down and pay attention to it. If you know what you're earning and you're analyzing what you're earning, you're analyzing your income, it helps you, plan towards your basic expenses. You should know your cash flow. We should always try to, ensure that we are managing our spending. We are planning ahead to make the most of our income. Then capital, they say it's best to have multiple streams of income. And as women, I want to encourage us today, including myself, to actually look at, having leftover cash that you can use, for maybe other streams of income like businesses. And investment is actually very key. It's one of the concepts when it comes to, managing your finances. Do you want to have short-term investments? Do you want to have long-term investments? The investments you can do for 3 months, the investments you can do for a month, the investments you can even do for long term, say 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So it's very important, it's very necessary, to look at your investment plan. Then another thing we should always have at the back of our mind when it comes to managing our finances is our standard of living. We women tend to say, oh, I want to be comfortable. I want to have this. I want to own this. I want to purchase this. But then while you're trying to give yourself the possible comfort, with your standard of living, we should always try as much as possible to be prudent. Then financial understanding. making use of your decisions and results to better understand what works in your financial management plan. Because we all don't earn the same thing, we all don't have the same income and cash flow, it makes it very different for my own financial plan to work with yours. So you need to look at this and ensure that okay, whatever financial management plan you're putting in place for yourself, you're not just taking it off the book in theory, but you're working based on practical facts of that works with you as an individual, that aligns with your own goals, your own financial goals. Assets, as women, we should ensure that you're acquiring valuable assets, not just liability. You should look at acquiring assets. They can be fixed assets, they can be liquid assets. Savings, it's always very important for us to have emergency cash on hand. While you're saving, ensure that you're saving in, your savings can be in liquid forms where you have access to them. Then it's also very necessary that we seek financial advisory services. Sometimes people feel, oh, I have to have so much wealth for me to, seek financial advisory services. But then I'd like to draw our attention to the fact that a lot of people have lost, people have lost funds. This is not just limited to women. A lot of investors, I'll say, as far as you're investing, you're an investor, it doesn't necessarily mean how much. A lot of people have lost funds when it comes to investments, savings, and finances, because sometimes you feel, okay, with your own knowledge, let me do this or let me do that. But when you're seeking the advice of an expert in that field, in that regard, it sets you apart from every other person, and it gives you a strong decision-making, it gives you a strong decision-making advantage. So that's one of the concepts we should always look at when it comes to money managing skills. So I'll just go to the next slide. And if you take a look down my slide, you'd see a diagram that's showing poor money management. So before I go to the money managing strategies that I want us to discuss today, I'd like to start with that. What is poor money management? Spending on what you can't afford. As women, we should try as much as possible to ensure we are spending within our means. We're spending within our income level. No planned budgeting. You could have a budget or a plan, and then you're not even working with that. That is as good as not even having a planned budget. No prioritizing of needs and wants. In today's world, in today's society, there's a very big difference between your need and your want. When you talk of shelter, shelter is a need, is a necessity, So it is when you're not prioritizing your needs and differentiating it from your wants, you tend to have poor management, poor money management plan, and that doesn't help at all, especially when you're looking at securing a very successful financial future as a woman in today's society, which sets you apart from others. Sliding into creeping debt. I encourage people to take debt or take credits when it's going to generate an income for you. You could take a credit loan, and you're investing that into a business as capital. Yes, that's not a bad debt. So you should actually be able to decide that, okay, if you're sliding into debt, it shouldn't just be a bad debt. Understanding your spending habits. As women, we should try as much as possible to understand our spending habits. I know it is one thing in the world today, people say women are emotional spenders. You're having a bad day and you're feeling, oh, today I feel like, okay, I should just go, treat myself. But then before you're doing that, have you set aside your savings? Have you set aside something for the rainy day? Have you set aside something for the future? So as we're celebrating ourselves, let us have at the back of our minds that we need to manage our finances, which is very key. Pardon my voice today. Okay, we need to cut down on expenses. When you're looking at your money managing strategies, on the top, the reason why I feel cutting down on expenses is actually plays a major role in money managing strategies is because that's actually the first point when it comes to your income, going downhill. If you're cutting down on expenses, it creates more room for you to have more investments. It creates more room for you to have more savings. It creates more room for you to have a better future. So have a monthly budget plan. We should try as much as possible to ensure that you're having a monthly budget plan. But this is what I earn this month. And if I'm earning this much this month, I should be able to spend this on my necessities, on my needs. And you can never always set aside something for luxury. I wouldn't say, yeah, because women, we shouldn't enjoy ourselves. Hey, come on, we work hard, so we should be able to party hard. I would say that we should enjoy our finances as well. So you can always set aside something for, that's luxurious moments where you want to spoil yourself. It's very key. It helps your mental health. I encourage everyone to do that, including the male folks. So let's also look at creating multiple streams of income. It is very important that in today's world, with the inflation rate, skyrocketing, and of course, we all know the value of Naira today in our economy, in our country today. So it makes a whole lot of sense if you're multiplying your streams of income and not being dependent on just one particular stream of income. You're a monthly income earner, say you have a job, you can also look at there are other forms and there are other ways where you can earn other income, apart from your monthly pay. So as women, we should try as much as possible to diversify, in that aspect, in that regard. Even I would even encourage us to start today. It's not too late. This is the first quarter of the year. I am so excited that the International Women's Day is even coming at the beginning of the year. So that gives you room to plan, for at least have a plan before the end of the year, before mid-year, before half year, you should be able to have a good financial plan and review what you've done in the next 3 months, 6 months. So establishing liquid savings is very important for you to establish liquid savings funds. Those are like funds you can have access to whenever you need them. Allocate at least 20% of your income towards financial priorities and always differentiate between good debt and bad debt, like we earlier talked about. A plan for effective budgeting, I'll just breeze through that. It's one of the things is setting financial goals. Yes, you should have your own personal financial goals. You should estimate your income. You should budget an emergency fund. If an emergency crops up today, we as women tend to feel, is it necessary for me to have these different types of savings or these different types of financial plan in my budget and all of that? It's very necessary. It's very key because you can't, the days when emergency crops up and you should be able to stand up for yourself, you should be able to be financially independent. And that's why having an emergency fund, comes to play. Budgeting your fixed expenses. There are some expenses that are actually fixed, like your rent, your transportation, your feeding, like those are very important expenses, that are fixed. And it's one of the things that should fall into your budget plan. Having variable expenses, record your spending amount. Some of us, especially today, when we're trying to do the cashless, we're doing the cashless world, I tend to throw away receipts, but I want to encourage us today to try as much as possible. Those receipts, those printouts, you might feel, oh, do I need this paper for anything? But at the end of the week or at the end of the month, you can bring them together. It helps you record, okay, this is what I've spent so far. What did I even spend on? Did I spend on important things? Are these things necessities? Are these wants? Are these things I would have been able to do without? Are these things I would have put in this other investment plan instead of having them spent on this amount? So recording some of these spending amounts, from the supermarket, from the store, from the gas station, it tends to help us a lot in our in getting an effective budget plan. Reviewing your spending, your saving patterns. You need to review, like I said, it's the Women's Day is coming in the first quarter. So it gives you time before the end of 6 months or before the end of the year to have reviewed your savings pattern. Do I need to do more in my emergency funds? Do I need to do more in my investment plans? Do I need to do more in my daily savings? So they are it gives you time to be able to assess some of this financial progress and also build better goals. And I would encourage us today to start with little. The starting point is majorly once you've started, consistency is just next. Let's look at money habits of successful women that we can adopt. They say women are more emotional than men. I don't know how. Sometimes I feel it might be true. It may not, but it depends. It's not general. It's not holistic. But then money, like emotions, is something you must control to keep your life on the right track. You know, tracking, let's look at tracking our finances. It is very key for us to track our finances and educate ourselves on personal finance. Some people feel, oh, do I need to get an MBA, or do I need to have a BSc or a degree in finance for me to manage my finances? Or do I really care? But no, you can actually, there are books you can read on educating yourself on personal finance. And this is one of the very good habits that we should develop as women in having, it will aid us, to have a successful financial future. Establishing financial goals to build wealth, you need to understand what you want to achieve. What do you want to achieve in the next 5 years? As a woman, what do you want to achieve financially? What do you want to get? What are you looking at? What are your plans? What are your goals? Having a rich mindset, but living within your means and avoiding emotional spending. That's something that happens, I think, to every woman on a daily basis. You're looking at, you're passing by Cold Stone and you're feeling, I should give myself a treat of ice cream today. But then that might have been a fund that you should have maybe put towards purchase of gas, which is a necessity and not a want. So we need to avoid emotional spending and try as much as possible, to live within our means. Establishing emergency funds, we talked about that, pay into your emergency fund accounts. You can create an account. In today's world, you don't necessarily have to go to the bank or, go to an investment house to open an account. It's something you can do even from your mobile phone, as far as you have, data and all of that. So it's something you can create today. Have an account that you set aside for emergency funds, which you can pay into every month. Saving for retirement, I don't think we pay attention to that a lot, or we give credence to that, but then it is something that we as women should try as much as possible to focus on. We should have a retirement plan. You're not going to work your head off for the rest of your life. At some point, even as the business owner, you're going to take some time off work. Even as women, sometimes the fact that we tend to be homemakers, you're a caretaker, a homemaker, you might take time off work within that period. So what happens when you're off work that period? So that's where sometimes these retirement funds come to play, having pension accounts and all of that. So we need to pay attention to all of these things as women. Reading every day. Books are concentrated sources of wisdom. The more books we read, the more wisdom we expose ourselves to. And then in today's world, I want to encourage us as women to try as much as possible to read a book a day. You can decide to read a book a month, and if you feel okay, let me take a chapter per day. But then it helps us in improving our skills in every area of our lives. You don't necessarily have to streamline it. It can be religious books, it can be motivational books, financial books, and books that would aid and support your careers and all. So we women should try as much as possible to improve our skills. It's something you can do from the confine of your home. It's something you can do on your mobile phone. With the way the world has gone today, it's gone. So we know that, okay, on your mobile phone, you can download apps that have books that you can read on. Going further, just minute, please. Can women be good financial planners? Yes, we can, because we are keen observers. A woman pays attention to detail a lot. We are organized. I'll say that we are quite organized. So this skill, which is inherent in us, helps us, and it's something I feel we should utilize and use. It helps you put an eye on your monthly expenses. If you pay attention to detail as a woman, you should be able to be a good financial planner. And then if that is applied to your financial life, it helps you create a successful financial future for yourself. And while you're doing that, you're not just doing that for yourself, you're doing it for your family, you're doing it for, everyone around you, because we women play a very vital role in the society today. And that's why we're talking about women in society. A financial savvy woman knows her net worth. Know what you're worth, not just financially, what you're worth at every point in time. This year, okay, at the end of the year, I want to be worth this amount, I want to be worth this. And you work diligently, to increasing that net worth. So that is why that financial plan and financial budget, comes to play and is very key. And for being to aid your financial plan, you have to plan to eliminate debt. Try as much as possible to clear off debt. If you can even stay away from it, except it's for investment purpose, then okay, you can go ahead. You should have a budget and stick to your budget. Do not ignore savings for retirement. It might look like, okay, retirement is in how many years? In 30 years, in 20 years, in 10 years. Do I need to start doing that now? But the time to start is actually now, So have an emergency fund, set financial success as a goal for yourself, that I want to be successful financially and work towards it. Sometimes it aids when you have like a notepad or a diary or a book where you're penning down some of these things. People have, you can even have a soft copy on your cell, because when you put it down, it's a reminder in your head that I have to work towards this. You should have both short-term savings and long-term investments. Developing financial stability as a woman, while you're doing that, it helps you in, tracking your finances. People might feel, okay, financial planning seems like a very broad and wide term, but it's as simple as just keeping financial records, like those receipts, you get from the supermarket, keeping those kind of records. You're having an income, you're having a credit alert, those are records. For example, by working out how much money you make each day or each week or each month, whichever one works for you as an individual, and how much you spend within the same period. So you're putting your income, side by side with your expenses, and it helps you plan better. It paints a picture of what sort of financial trajectory you are on. That's why I said it is personal to each individual. So you need to look at what works for you, because what works for A might not even work for B. So you can adjust your expenses, you can adjust your income based on what works for you as an individual. Invest as much as possible in a diversified portfolio. Yes, you should not just place all your eggs in one basket. I tell people that try as much as possible to diversify your investment. That's why you should have maybe different accounts for savings, emergency funds. You can have different accounts for maybe your retirement funds. If you don't have a pension account, you can create one, for yourself. This can be done even in a well-managed Excel sheet where you keep tracks of all of these things. Like I said earlier, thank God the world has gone digital. It makes it easy for you to do all of these things, because there are apps and there are programs that you can just download on your mobile and have them, work and do all the calculations and everything for you, if you can't afford to get financial advisory services from experts. But I believe by the time you pay more attention to it and you look at these things, you read more, you educate yourself on it, it's something we as women can do. So building a sustainable financial future, in managing your financial security and growth, there are two key areas I want to bring to our attention today, which is insurance. I think a lot of us don't pay attention to insurance, but it's necessary. It's key. We don't create room for insurance in all of our financial plans, but I think it's something we should try as much as possible to put into play today. Develop a strategy for managing your insurance costs. You should create one, apart from the auto insurance, which is always key. You have to do it. Most people do third-party insurance, but you can do life insurance. You can do health insurance. I know some companies make provisions for HMOs for staff, but if you're an entrepreneur, you can get a personal health insurance scheme for yourself. So while you feel, okay, I'm working on saving, I'm working on investment, this is also a part where you need to pay attention to as a woman, because it's not every time when you have medical issues that you should always go to, you should go to your, maybe your savings account or your investment account to pull out funds for your health. So in ensuring that you're having a sustainable financial future, insurance is key. At least have health insurance. In today's world, we have lots of HMOs there that are actually marketing health insurance. So you can key into any one of them that falls within your income and within your means. Financial investment. How many of us actually look at, okay, even if I'm just having 20,000 naira, what can this 20,000 naira do for me? You might feel it's just a small amount, but like they say, little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. So while you're, feeling, okay, I need to have huge funds, I need to have bulk funds for me to do investment. No, you can actually start with as little as possible. And it's just a strategy way of thinking, because sometimes it has to do with our mindset, it has to do with our thought processes. So we need to look at acquiring valuable assets, and this is something that can help you in the long run. You can get a land today that might not be worth as much, but then it appreciates. That's some of the ways, you can ensure that you're maintaining a sustainable financial future, because in the future, that land that you've purchased today for maybe 100,000, might be worth 100% more. And then you're looking at, oh, when I got this land back then, it wasn't worth this amount. When I got this asset, when I did this investment, it wasn't worth that much. So we should try as much as possible to look at ensuring that our financial investments, are things that we pay attention to, and there are things that we ensure that we are doing right. Ensure that I tell people it is advisable to begin with a professional. Talk to professionals in those regards. You want to invest in fixed assets, you want to invest in real estate, talk to a professional in that space. And it helps you to make the right decisions most times. And I'll just conclude today by telling us all that securing a successful financial future is extremely important, for everyone, irrespective of whether you're a man or a woman. So the men don't feel I'm just speaking to women today, but I know the fact that we women are paying attention to our finances is even going to make the men happier, because they know that, yes, okay, I'm sure once the women are financially independent, we have some space. Yesterday, I was talking to someone, and I was talking to a man, and he said, what happens to the finances that you guys, the income that people get from us? And I told them, yes, we get income from you men, we would also invest it for ourselves. So don't worry, we're making good use of the funds we are getting from you guys. So yeah, whether you're a man or a woman, it makes a whole lot of sense if you're, managing your finances right. But today, I want to encourage us all to try as much as possible to pay extreme and pay serious attention to our finances. It's a bit more important for us to know our way around money management, learning how to save, invest, and how to spend cautiously. Don't go into the grocery store and say, I just want to get provisions. And at the end of the day, you're not just getting provisions, you're getting toiletries and things that you might already have and feel, okay, let me just talk more on them. But at that point, you might not have even done your savings. You might not have even put in the funds you're supposed to put for your investments. So we women must take charge of our personal financial well-being. Yes, we should. It aids and helps you to be financially independent. And let us excel in money management, just as we're doing in every other field. So yes, my dearest women, you can do it. We can do it. So happy Women's Day. I'll conclude by saying we women are wonderful. We're outstanding. We're marvelous, we're durable, and we're nice. Yes, we've got this. So yeah, on this Women's Day, I want to wish you all joy and happiness in the world today and forever. So once again, happy International Women's Day. While we're going out there, let's embrace equity. Thank you so much for having me. And if you have questions, just throw them in the chat box. I know our host will take over. So over to you, Ms. Gary. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Agnes. Thank you. That was an insightful one. It was really educative, really, really educative. Thank you. I'm sure that we can all go back home and work on our financial independence. One thing I picked from there was that you said we should always seek financial advisory. Before diving into any investments, we should seek advice, because I know that some investment can go bad. So it's a really good one. It's a good one. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please throw in your questions in the chat session. We'll take that. Let's quickly watch an exciting video. Thank you.
Imagine a gender empowered, a world free from bias, stereotype, and discrimination, a world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive, a world difference is valued and celebrated. Together, we can forge women's equality. Collectively, we can embrace equity.
Every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. Happy International Women's Day.
There is no limit to what we women can accomplish. Happy Women's Day.
Women should not be afraid to speak. Embrace equity. Happy International Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day means happier women's future. and happy Women's Day to all the hardworking women in the world.
Happy Women's Day.
Equal pay, equal opportunity, equality for all gender.
Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. It shouldn't be that women are the exception. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the video. Happy International Women's Day to all of you. I will quickly call on the second speaker, Abisola Kehinde. She's an associate at Imperial Law Office. She has over 8 years experience in 8 years experience in company secretarial service, corporate commercial law practice. She's a chartered secretary of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrator of Nigeria. She's going to be talking to us today on the topic, Women in Society, Embracing Equity from a legal perspective on the prevailing issues in the society. Ms. Abisola, you're welcome.
Thank you, Glory. I, for a minute, started thinking that, was I the one that was being introduced? Thank you so much. All right, happy International Women's Day. Please permit me to share my screen. All right, so this morning I would be discussing about women in society and how women can embrace equity. I would be discussing a perspective into the legal framework on equity in Nigeria. And I would also have a special focus on the prevailing issues, the challenges women are facing in today's society. I will thereafter make recommendations and conclude. All right, so we said today is the 8th of March. Today is the International Women's Day. What exactly is the aim of International Women's Day? The aim of International Women's Day is to celebrate the social, economic, and cultural achievements of women and to seek to challenge gender stereotypes, call out discrimination, and draw attention to bias and fight for equal opportunities. Now, what is the theme for today's International Women's Day? This year, we're going to be discussing about embracing equity. And the focus for this year's theme is to really drive home the question, are equal opportunities enough? How do we embrace equity? What exactly are women fighting for? What exactly are we pushing for? What are we driving for? Is embracing equity the same as embracing change? And is equality the same as equity? So many people, when you hear equity, the next thing that comes to your mind is equality. These terms look similar, but they have different meanings. Now, I will discuss about the differences between equality and equity. If we're going to embrace equity, we need to understand what equity means. And this is how we're going to be able to create a balance in the society. Now, equity refers to the right of every individual to equal treatment and opportunities, regardless of your gender, regardless of your race and your social position. But equity implies that each individual or group of people have equal access to same resources or opportunities. So for instance, I give Mr. A, B, and C 50,000 naira. I've given them the same resources. But now, what is equity talking about? Equity is saying it is the quality of being fair or impartial. Equity recognizes that each person has different circumstances and allocates the exact resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome. Now, for equality, I gave Mr. A, B, and C 50,000 naira. But for equity, equity goes as far as looking at each unique circumstance of an individual and giving them the right resources that will help them to achieve the same success. So now, in this situation, I'll look at Mr. A, Mr. B, and Mr. C. I'll look at their particular circumstance, and I'll give to them the resources that they would need to achieve their success and achieve their deliverables. Now, we need to understand, can we actually say that everyone is naturally equal? The answer is no. Some were born poor, some were born rich, some were born short, some were born tall. And this is where equity comes in. Equity comes in to bridge the gap that is already created by nature. Equity says to the child of the poor man, you deserve equal employment opportunities with the son of the rich. Equity says to the fully able man, please let the disabled be attended to first. The recently concluded elections, you would have been able to see that people that were disabled or people that had physical disabilities were attended to first. This is where equity comes in. Equity also says women deserve to be given the same opportunities and platform a man is given in order to be able to showcase our skills. Now, I have some diagrams here. Now, in the first diagram, you will see a disabled woman, a tall man, a woman, and a child. They are both given the same bicycle. But if you look at it, the man is not comfortable. The lady on the wheelchair she cannot even ride the bicycle. Now, look at the child is not even comfortable. But look at equity. Equity gives the disabled woman the right bicycle that she would need. The man is very comfortable, as you can see in the diagram, and you can see the woman, and the child is given the exact bicycle that would fit and would be comfortable. Now, my second diagram says, now, if you look at it, the tree is tilting to one side, and that is how life is. Life is not equal, right? Now, equality says give the both of them the same ladder, but equity goes as far as saying, okay, let me look at this person that is not even able to get any fruits, and let me give the person a bigger ladder that will help them to be able to achieve something in life. Now, this is my third diagram. Now, you can see a tall man. You can see an averagely tall person, and then you can see this short person, like people like us that we are short. Imagine you go to a concert and then you see these tall people standing in front of you. You are not able to see what's in front of you. Now, in the first picture, you see that the three people were given the same platform. This is what equality says. I give you access to the same resources. But equity is saying now, look at the short person. You can see that this is a win-win situation. Paula Dressel of Race Matters Institute says, the route to achieving equity will not be accomplished through treating everyone equally. It will be achieved by treating everyone justly according to their circumstance. Now, we're talking about equity, we're talking about equality. We need to be able to understand what has the Nigerian government done about laws in Nigeria. We have some legal framework. Now, the number one is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, Section 17(1) and 2 says every citizen shall have the equality of rights, obligations, and opportunity before the law. This is equality. Now, the Constitution goes further to say in Section 42 that every citizen shall not be subjected to any form of discrimination, disability, or deprivation by reason of their community, ethnic group, place of origin, circumstances of birth, sex, religion, or political opinion. It goes down further. Now, we also have the Nigerian government has also been able to sign international treaties. I just brought these treaties here, the Maputo Protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, on the rights of African women, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, 1981. Nigeria became a signatory on the 13th of July, 1985. Now, this is to go as far as telling you that we have laws in place that are pushing equity. We have laws in place that are pushing equality, but there are still some challenges. I'm going to talk about that in a few moments. Now, one of the challenges that are facing women in our society today is gender inequality. What do I mean? This refers to the disparities between women and men. It is as a result of discriminatory laws, religion, cultural norms, gender stereotypes, low level of education, marginalization from leadership positions. Now, research shows that about 4.47% of Nigerian lawmakers are women. This is low. Research also conducted by the National Competitiveness Council of Nigeria in October 2017 revealed that there were less than 2% women in the labor force in certain states in Nigeria. Now, the percentage of women in some professional work in Nigeria, research was also done to this. You can see 18.3% are doctors, 2.4% are architects, lawyers, 25.4%, I'm one of them, lecturers 11.8%, gynecologists 8.4%. Now we can see that there is gender inequality in our society. Now, gender-based violence, this is prevalent in our society of today. It could take different forms: domestic violence, sexual assault, sexual harassment. Research shows that 35% of women in Nigeria have experienced gender-based violence. You know, this implies that 1 in every 3 Nigerian women have suffered physical and or sexual violence. Now, according to the 2018 Nigeria Demographic and Health Survey, 31% of women between ages 15 and 49 have experienced physical violence, while 9% have experienced sexual violence. For that, 36% of once married Nigerian men have suffered spousal violence. I'm sure we have all heard of all of these issues of somebody waking up one day and killing their spouse, or women are being battered, or sexual assault, and all of these kind of things. And what are the resulting outcomes? It results to depression. Now we see lots of people are suffering, their mental health is suffering. You can see unwanted pregnancies, suicide, single parenting, and it wasn't supposed to be this way. And you know, when children are not raised properly, they create nuisance in society. This has also led to temporary or permanent physical impairment. Now, discrimination in the workplace is another challenge. Nigerian women still experience discriminatory practices while seeking employment and in their place of work. I remember I applied for a job. The job had 3 stages of interview. I passed the first stage, the second stage, and the third stage. The third stage was to meet with the managing director. At this point in time, in my mind, I'm like, yes, I've gotten this job. In fact, we discussed at length. It discussed what are the values I was intending to bring. It discussed how much I needed to, I was going to, my expected salary, you know. But at the end of that day, I got a message from this man saying I should meet him in an hotel. Now, what do you mean? Why do I have to do this? Because I want to get a job. So individuals are still discriminated on the basis of age, disability, place of origin, their gender, their tribe, pregnancy. Because I'm pregnant doesn't mean I can't work. Because I'm pregnant doesn't mean that I don't have the skills necessary to achieve success in an organization. Now, according to the International Labour Organization, most Nigerian women are still faced with common discriminatory employment practices in Nigeria. And these include wage parity, inadequate maternity leave, sexual harassment, and slow promotion to top managerial positions. Now, another thing that is plaguing our society are the violations against the human rights, the rights of women to inheritance and succession. Now, it is believed that the customary and Sharia laws in Nigeria greatly influence gender discrimination. For instance, under the customary law in Nigeria, women disinheritance, child or forced marriage, wife battering, harmful widow practices are permitted. Widows in Nigeria suffer a lot of human rights abuses, and these are degrading and unfair. Nigerian women are still discriminated against in areas such as inheritance and succession, family and childcare responsibilities. Now, there's a famous case, which I'm going to just, Anikwe and Wekwe. Now, Mrs. Wekwe lost her husband, and she didn't have a male child. So her father-in-law and her brother-in-law come one day and say, woman, you need to leave this property. You don't have a male child. You cannot inherit this property, so you need to go packing. Mrs. Wekwe sought recourse in courts, and the Supreme Court condemned this custom and practices of disinheriting women from owning property repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. In their words, it was said to be primitive, uncivilized, and only intended to protect the selfish perpetration of male dominance. Now, I am very, very happy to say this. Just recently, the Abia State House of Assembly recently passed the Female Person's Right of Inheritance of Property Law 2022 on the 16th of November 2022. This law guarantees women's right to inherit and own property in their father's family, and it is intended to eliminate all forms of discrimination against women. Now, what are my recommendations? Now, the Nigerian government needs to formulate human governmental policies. They need to enact laws against the several injustices that women are facing in every sphere of life. Now, apart from just formulating these laws, there needs to be proper, effective enforcement of these laws. to ensure that the offenders are prosecuted by the law. Now, organizations where we work in day to day, they need to establish inclusive policies in their corporate governance policies, that will promote diversity, balance, create structures that will help persons with disability. And there should be inclusion of gender balance of boards of corporate organizations. If you look at boards of corporate organizations today, the number of people, women who are on these boards are very few. So there should be inclusion of gender balance. Now, individuals need to understand estate planning instruments like wills, living trust, and powers of attorney. See, gone are the days when we normally say, oh, when you talk about wills, the person is saying, no, please, I don't want to die. I'm not ready to die now. No, things have changed. The world has moved on. You need to plan your estate. Your family members don't have to go through unfair treatments because you refuse to plan your life. Now, organizations need to provide equal opportunities. They need to ensure that all employees, regardless of their gender, their race, they have equal access to opportunities for career advancement, training, and professional development. There are some offices today that they don't like to train women. Why? Because she's just going to come in one day, she's pregnant, she goes on maternity leave, she's not, I'm not able to gain a lot if I train a woman. No, things should move. We should not do this thinking. We don't need to think this way anymore. We need to embrace equity. We need to embrace change. And of course, we women, we need to develop our capacities. We need to learn necessary skills. We need to be resourceful. We need to be financially independent. My colleague this morning spoke about being financially independent. I'm sure we would have learned a lot. Now, in conclusion, what have I been trying to say? We can all truly embrace equity. It is not just something we should say. This is not just something we should write about. It is something we need to think about. We need to know it. We need to value it. We need to embrace it. And when we embrace it, what do we mean? When we embrace equity, we embrace diversity. When we embrace equity, we embrace inclusion. We embrace equity to forge harmony and unity. We embrace equity to help drive success. Equality is the goal, and equity is the means to get there. And through the process of equity, we can reach equality. Now, I want to say to all the beautiful women out there, you are strong, you can do it, you have the skills, you are strong, you're a woman of substance, you're beautiful. Thank you very much. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bisola. Thank you. That was really educative. I'm sure that we can all go home and drive an inclusive world. We've been able to learn the difference between equity and equality. So that was really insightful. Thank you. We are taking questions now. We just have about one question. Sorry, just a moment. And we also have good comments coming in. We have good comments coming in. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you. Okay, we have a question from Moses. What money management service does GTI offer? I think Agnes will take that. Agnes, please, can you take that question for us? Give us an answer. What management services does GTI offer?
Okay, thank you very much for that. Thank you, Gary. For GTI, I would say today, being International Women's Day, as a woman, we can offer you free advisory services on your finances. So walk into our office number 4 Tinubu Street in Marina. And today, if you walk in here, trust me, you'll be getting free financial advisory services. Let us help you with that. And another thing we can do for you as an investment group, as an investment firm, as an investment bank, is to assist you, invest in places where you know that, okay, you can earn more returns, good returns on your funds, and you're sure of security of funds. So we have short-term investments, we have long-term investments that you can benefit from. So these are the things we can do for you and GTI. Walk into our office, it's in Marina, you're passing by. A lot of people go to Balogun Market. Don't just walk into Balogun Market. We women, we know how to do that. As you're going to Balogun Market, stop by GTI House and let us help you with your finances. So yes, we are here for you, and there's a lot we can do for you as regards your finances. It doesn't have to be any amount you have, any income you have, we'll work with it, we'll work with you. We just want to ensure that women in society today, while we are embracing equity, we are also having a successful financial future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Agnes. is saying not everyone lives in Lagos. You can always give us a call. We have a lot of investment opportunities for you. You can always give us a call. We'll run you through the different options of investment we have. We have the fixed deposit, we have savings. We have several investments that you can do even from afar. And we can also give advisory by phone to you. So you can always reach us by calls. Let's take another message. Okay, there's a message here. Where is competition in equity? For instance, in basketball, both short and tall aim for the same height of the basket. You like your comment, please. That's from Thompson Okafo. I think Bisola will take that. Where is competition in equity? For instance, in basketball, both short and tall aim for the same height of the basket. Your comments, please.
Oh, thank you very much for that. Is there competition in equity? My opinion, there is no competition in equity. Equity drives balance in the society. Equity creates a win-win situation for everyone. Equity ensures that there is fairness, there's justice in the society. Now, when you say competition in equity, probably equality. Because if you say equality, you're giving everybody the same resources. Not everybody, naturally, the society is not equal, so equality can allow for competitiveness, but equity, no. Thank you.
Okay, Bisola, I think you have another question here. It's from Adams. He said, is it fair to expect companies to prioritize gender equality, given that their primary responsibility is to generate profit for their stakeholders?
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. So for a company has executive objectives and non-executive objectives. Now, the non-executive objectives would mean non-financial objectives. That's what I mean. Non-financial objectives, financial objectives, and non-financial objectives. Now, for the non-financial objectives, goes to say that you should ensure that your staffs are well taken care of. You should ensure that there's work-life balance. You should ensure that there's no discrimination within your walls as an organization. In fact, corporate governance drives this essentially. The policies that an organization should have expects companies to prioritize gender equity. These are the non-financial objectives that in an organization should have. Even apart from their staffs, they have to ensure that there's customer satisfaction. So there are so many non-financial objectives and these are the things that affect the reputation of a company. Some of these things affect, if we have heard of stories or where there's gender inequality in an organization, and then it goes to social media, and then everybody knows about that company, that this company, they don't treat people well. That's the end. Reputational damage, it goes down, right? And these things can affect their stock. These things can affect their shareholders. People do not have confidence in these companies anymore. So it is expected for companies to prioritize gender equality. It is expected for companies to ensure that their staffs are well taken care of. It is expected that companies ensure that their staffs do not suffer any form of discrimination because of their political opinion, their religion, their tribe, their ethnicity. So I think I'll end it here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abisola.
Okay. I want to, Bisola, is it Namdi? Are you hearing me? Bisola.
Namdi, can you give us 1 minute? Let's just take one question.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Please just mute your mic. Thank you. We have a question from John. He says, what laws are available to assist women in inheritance issues? Abisola, that's for you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. John. I said when I was presenting that the Constitution allows for that people should have human rights and their rights should not be violated. The constitutions allow for rights to own property, irrespective of whether you're a man or you're a woman. You have the right to own your property. You have freedom of speech. You are not supposed to be discriminated in the society. You have equal rights. You have equal opportunities, and this is what the Constitution says. Now, you are not going to, when you want to buy a property, nobody's going to say because you're a woman, you should not buy property. So the Constitution in itself supports that both men and women should be able to own properties in Nigeria. And states in Nigeria have also, I mentioned the Abia State government that recently passed a law about the rights of women to own properties, right? So the Constitution itself allows equal rights and opportunities for both men and women. The reason why we're talking today is because there are still challenges in our society today that still discriminates and violates the rights of women to owning property. And that's the reason why we're here today, to be able to embrace equity, be able to embrace change, and to be able to cause these things to change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bisola. Nnamdi, you can speak. You can ask your question. Nnamdi. Okay, we have good comments. Good comments. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you. I think we'll just wrap up. Nnamdi, do you want to speak now? Okay, you can just type your question to the comment to the chat box. I think you are not available to speak.
No, I'll speak now.
Okay, go ahead now.
Okay. So, Bisola, what's the problem? Bisola, what's the problem with the situation? Hello?
Nnamdi, can you repeat your question?
Okay, I'm asking that what's the problem what's the problem? You see that okay, that there's no gender.
Okay, we lost Nnamdi. We lost Nnamdi. Okay, we'll just wrap up. I hope that we can all go home and push an inclusive world. I hope that we can all go home and embrace equity. Let's take the campaign to our different societies. Let's take the campaign back home. I'll end my statement by saying, you don't have to play masculine to be a strong woman. You are strong, you are beautiful, you are enough. Happy International Women's Day to all of you. Thank you for joining this webinar. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Imagine a gender-informed, a world free from bias, stereotype, and discrimination, a world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive, a world difference is valued and celebrated. Together, we can forge women's equality. Collectively, we can embrace equity.
Every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. Happy International Women's Day.
There is no limit to what we women can accomplish. Happy Women's Day.
Women should not be afraid to speak. Embrace equity. Happy International Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day means happy women's future, and happy Women's Day to all the hardworking women in the world.
Happy Women's Day.
Equal pay, equal opportunity, equality for all gender.
Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. It shouldn't be that women are the exception. Happy International Women's Day.